Our next topic is Azure Front Door. So let's discuss what exactly is Azure Front Door and how it is useful. Azure Front Door is a global scalable entry point that uses the Microsoft Global Edge Network to create fast, secure, and widely scalable web applications. It offers layer 7 capability of web application like SSL offload, path-based routing, and fast failover, caching, etc. to improve performance of an high availability of an application. In simple terms, we can say that with the help of an Azure front door, we can make our application secure as well as we can improvise its performance as well. The Azure front door operates on OSI layer 7 and it provides capabilities like SSL offload, fast-based routing, and fast failover. The SSL offload is a crucial part in the performance of a web application. Normally, whenever you work on SSL, it took approximate 1% of server bandwidth. And now if you're using SSL in your all the backend pool server, then it would be of no use. So thus, with the help of an Azure front door, we can only enable SSL into the front door itself, and rest all the server which are in the backend pool need not to have a front need not to have an SSL, and thus we can save some bandwidth and some performance of an application. And Azure Front Door also provides a path-based routing. So depending upon the path, we can route the request to different region or different server depending upon the different use cases. Now let's move to the next question, that is how front door is used for an high availability. The front door is used for an high availability, and we can discuss this with the help of this diagram. So in this diagram, you can see that the front door that we are having right now supports two area. The one is an active region, the second is an standby region. So if we talk about an active region, it consists of an app service plan, the function app, the Redis app, and everything. Whereas if we talk about an standby region, the standby region also consists of the same thing. With the help of front door, I can enable a geo replication, and with the help of geo replication, if the front application or the active region is down, the data can be served from an standby region as well. In this way, the application that we are using in Azure is basically using and deploying everything. It's basically is available in the entire ecosystem and is available 24 by 7. Now let's move to a next question, that is what is the difference between Azure CDN and Front Door? And Azure Front Door is an application delivery network service that offers a layer 7 load balancing capabilities of application. It delivers contents while protecting app, API, and website from cyber threat and works seamlessly with Azure services and modern content delivery network technology. Whereas, if we talk about an Azure CDN, it's a global distributed network of server that can efficiently deliver the web content to consumer. It stored cache content on the S server POP location that are close to the user, thereby minimizing the network latency. In simple terms, you can say that the Azure front door operates on layer 7, and apart from improvising the performance of application, it also secures the application from cyber threat and other hackers. Whereas if we talk about a CDN, the only role of an Azure CDN or content delivery network is to improvise the performance and to deliver the web content to the consumer depending upon the location where they are accessing it from the relevant S server. What is the traffic routing in an Azure front door? The traffic routing in an Azure front door allow us to control how client requests are distributed amongst the application endpoint. It support base routing method like priority, wait, and geography routing. In simple terms, we can say with the help of an Azure front door, we can enable and disable a different routing technique, and we can hit only those backend servers which are required for our interaction for our client endpoints. The traffic routing of an Azure front door support four method. The first is latency, second is priority, third is weighted, and the fourth is session affinity or geographic routing. If we talk about latency, The latency based routing ensures that the requests are sent to the lowest latency origin acceptable within a sensitivity range. In other words, the request gets sent to the nearest set of origin in the respect of network latency. Now, if we talk about priority, the priority can be set to the origin when we want to configure a primary origin to service all traffic. The secondary origin can be act as a backup and in case a primary origin becomes unavailable. In that way, we can say the Azure Front Door provides a 24 by 7 approach to of a web application. The weighted traffic routing can be assigned to the origin when we want to distribute traffic across a set of origin evenly according to the weighted coefficients, which simply means the weight value, it is distributed as a weight value, f is the latency and other things. And fourth is geography routing. It depends upon in which geographical area the application is accessed by the end user. Now, next question is how does front door handle security within the web application firewall? So the front door basically integrates with the Azure Web Application Firewall to protect application from common web vulnerabilities and threats. It enables a global WAF policy which can be used to define the security rules and policy and using which we can protect our web application. Our next question is what is the difference between the front end host and backend pool in an Azure front door? The front end host represents the domain or subdomain of web application that traffic comes to Azure front door. It is the entry point of an incoming request. Whereas if we talk about backend pool, the backend pool is a collection of backend endpoint or server that hosts the web application. These endpoints can be the Azure resources, on-premise resources, or resources hosted in an other cloud provider. In simple terms, we can say the front-end host basically is a subdomain which interacts with an Azure front door and it's an entry point of incoming request, whereas a backend pool are the collection of different servers on which a request is transmitted once a request is received by the front-end host. The next question is can Azure Front Door be used with an on premise application? Yes, Azure Front Door can be used with an on premise applications as well. It allows us to route and load balance traffic between the cloud based resources and the on premise data center and server. This capability is particularly useful in a hybrid cloud environment where we have a combination of cloud and an on premise resources.